Namaste. Gems from Savitri. In Savitri, we will see some persistent themes which are running throughout, like a narrative intertwined with each other. One theme is, of course, the fact of death, which talks human life. There is also earth and its destiny, but it's running as an undercurrent. One theme which runs very prominently is fate. Savitri is about fate and conquest over fate. And the master theme, of course, is love. So Sri Aurobindo, in several places, not only in the book of fate, several places he brings out certain aspects of fate. So today we'll read one passage which is about fate. Now there are many places, it's not only this. Like Mother and Sri Aurobindo say that if you want to know what Sri Aurobindo has said about anything, you must read the entire thing, all that he has said on a subject. Otherwise, we may be completely led to one-sided conclusions. But here we see one aspect of fate, but but as always, even in each aspect, Sri Aurobindo brings in the touch of completeness, because there is a completeness within it. There is a roundedness that we'll find in Sri Aurobindo all the time. So this is page 52. All that transpires on earth and all beyond are parts of an illimitable plan. Our way of thinking is, what shall I say, particle thinking, not wave thinking. Particle thinking is disconnected. My life, my fate. This life, this fate. Isn't it? That's how we think. No? As if our life is unconnected with everything else. But everything is interconnected. And that is the beauty of creation. When we look at it, with every event that takes place, there are many, many things impacted at the same time. And that's something which only the divine can act. The divine has that, divine vision is often described as the difference between divine vision and the human vision is. Human vision is like a kingfisher, it's focused on that little fish in front. Divine vision is like the eagle vision. It scans everything. And then it still sees the fish. But this fish is in relation to everything else. So this is how the divine works. All that transpires on earth and all beyond are parts of an illimitable plan. The one keeps in his heart and knows alone. Who knows the final secret? Though we all claim to know. It is only the Lord, nobody else. He holds within, because He holds all the threads, past, present, future. The line before that is very beautiful. Before this passage, there is a passage that what earth wants and needs, but it escapes her. And it ends very beautifully. Our souls accept what our blind thoughts refuse. Earth's winged chimeras are truth steeds in heaven. Chimeras are, Uchchai Shrava. What about it? Winged imagination. Chaishava was given to the Titan king Bali, when Sagar Manthan. Winged horse. Earth's winged chimera. So chimera is used in a very negative sense. Are chimera means it cannot be. Oh, you are speaking of ideal love and flawless happiness. Thoda satka or dream. Okay, let's come back to real. This is how people regard. No, Shimra. Shimra is regarded as, it's a mythical creature which doesn't exist. Winged horse, dekha kabhi nahi dekha. Equally, it is regarded as, it is a euphemism for a term which, a thought which will never become real. It is just in imagination. So, earth's winged chimeras are truth's steeds in heaven. And then he says something marvelous. The impossible, God's sign of things to be. What do you do before saying it's impossible? You have thought of a possibility. And then you say it's impossible. Now you thought of a possibility. The fact that you thought of a possibility, that means it has already started existing somewhere. That's all. That's how Kant will describe it in, 15 pages of very abstruse metaphysics. But very simply, you can't think of something if it is not possible. So earth's winged chimeras are truth steed in heaven, the impossible God's sign of things to be. But few can look beyond the present state or overleap the matted hedge of sense because our eyes are caught up in appearances. And then he goes, all that transpires on earth and all beyond are parts of an illimitable plan the one keeps in his heart and knows alone. Our outward happenings have their seed within. Oh Lord, what are you saying? We can't even blame somebody for. I wish it was not true, no? People, all my life I was blaming this person, that person for all that happened to me. What is he saying? They have seeds within. Look at it. Our outward happenings have their seed within. Now, what are those seeds? They are not like karma the way we understand. You did bad, you will get evil. No, it's not like that. Our outward happenings have their seed within. And even this random fate that imitates chance, this mass of unintelligible results. अच्छा आदमी था वो मर गया. अच्छा, nowhere it is written in any book that if you are a good man you will not die or you will not have corona. No God has ever given you that blanket thing. No, but everybody believes it. What can you do? Sir, but he was a good man. Why did he die of corona? So sometimes I ask, you think it would have been better if he died of cancer prolonged for months and years? It's nice. Corona. No jhamela, jhanjat, gone quietly. Even not too many people with dhol baja, and you will go quietly. Family also will be fine that you don't have to do 13 days, 14 days. Now you have digital programs. It's a way you look at it, na? I mean, ठीक है, he has gone quietly. No tamjam, no crying. The man has gone in such a neat way. He'll go to the same place. Not that, there is a separate gate in heaven also for corona pass holders. They are not regarded as, people who can't go this way. All go the same way. But it's like gone like that. Some prolong their miseries. Some grow old. And every day children are thinking, kab jayega? Or they are asking, Babuji, will bana diya hai to? Have you made your will? But outwardly, Bahu is bringing every day very good food. But all the time the thought is poor, that this old man, when will he go? So much better, chala gaya time par, without all this. So it's a way you look at it. But we don't, who knows, the soul within wants it like that. It doesn't want all this tamcham. Who knows? We don't know about the soul. So it's not about linear way, the way we understand things in a linear way. A good person, therefore he will not die. None of the scriptures write like that. They say truth wins, which is different from good. The way we understand. That to good deeds, the way we understand. The laws, this mass of unintelligible results are the dumb graph of truths that work unseen. Somebody pressed the finger here, tuck, and there was a message on the phone. But you don't know that, where it has come from. Caller, unidentified caller. So this is how our life is, that it happens. Are the dumb graph of truths that work unseen. The laws of the unknown create the known. Unknown with a capital U. And what are these laws? Sanatan Dharma. One of the law is Shashwat. Chase desire, get a pleasure, followed by pain. Just can't change it. You just can't. Sometimes not one pain, two pains. If you chase with too much intensity, maybe three pains. Until you will say like that poet, Ranji se much par padi. रंज का खूं घर करो तो मिट जाता है रंज, मुश्किलें मुझ पर पड़ी कि आशा हो गई. Wow, thank you. So sometimes it is like that. That we don't know that how things operate. Otherwise we would declare that Pandavas were the most discarded by God. See, look at the paradox of the story. The most loved by God are the ones who are most outwardly suffered. Ask Pandavas, sir, why did God do this to you? Surely Arjuna will get annoyed. He will pick up his Gandhi and tell, please stop saying anything against Krishna, otherwise you had it. Try telling Arjuna or tell Bhima, didn't Krishna make you suffer, and after that you won't know where you stand? Because they know that being with the divine is much greater. So, but we don't understand it. So it's not about good and bad the way we understand. The laws of the unknown create the known. And there is this unknown. When was Mahabharata war decided? It was decided the day Draupadi was disrobed. It was further decided when Arjuna chose Krishna, unarmed. That was the day it was finalized. It was decided the day. But where did it all start? It started in the mentality of, where did Ravana start? We can take this example. How these seeds operate. Ravana started with his mother Kaikashi. She was a Rakshasi or an Asuri. And the father was a Rishi, Pulastrishi, one of the 7 Rishis. Can you imagine? One of the 7 sages, original sages. So he marries Kaikashi, and when Ravana is being conceived, he says, you know what, now look at, people will say, what kind of a horrible consciousness, modern democratic liberal thought will not understand. But he says, destroy this child, this is a damn dangerous child, he'll bring havoc to the world. He says, no, I'll bring him up. Okay, bring up. So what was the problem? Because of Pulastya's influence, Ravana became a bhakta and a knower of, he literally got interested. But because of Kaikashi's influence, Ravana became a terribly ambitious man. She had brought in the child that having the powers of a seer, this child will become one day the king of Asura land. This is how. So he is a mixed birth. He is a Brahmin from the father, he is an Asura from the mother's side. And he tilts eventually toward, because mother's influence is very strong. So, if you look at it like that, where was the seed? Where is the seed in Kaikasi? Again, you will see that you go still further. That whole group of humanity which revolts against the law. That's what the Asura is, revolts against the law. He doesn't know surrender, he doesn't know faith. So if you go that way, it is not about just cause and effect the way we linearly understand. The events that shape the appearance of our lives, look at the perfection, are a cipher of subliminal quiverings, which rarely we surprise or vaguely feel, are an outcome of suppressed realities that hardly rise into material day. What we speak and what we even know most of the time as thought is only fraction. 90% is hidden within. And it will have its own play at one point of time. One example I can give you. Often you will see people, getting into illnesses and all. And you ask them long back, they have felt this death wish inside. For whatever reason, life has been unfair or whatever, and passingly, cipher of subliminal quiverings. Oh, this life is so meaningless. Now all this goes into the feeding. We don't know, but it has gone into the subconscious. And it will come up someday. But in civilization, we suppress these things. We put up a very nice appearance because we are supposed to look good, not be good. So this look good, feel good factor. But if you look at the life of the ancients, they were very bold and courageous. If you read their life, you will not understand it if you apply the yardsticks of the modern Western democratic ideals. Pick up any life, and that's why they are not understood. But they were courageous to accept things which, they experienced inside and to go ahead because they knew that because they were conscious of things inside, which normally we are not ordinarily conscious, yet they are there. So they are suppressed, subliminal quiverings, subliminal mental quiverings. Once someone was sharing with me, he said, he was called to, UNO meeting for, anyways, one project. So he asked the mother, shall I go? So mother asked him, do you want to go? So he said, no mother, I don't want to go, but if you tell me, then I'll go. She asked him again, are you sure you do not want to go? Now, he looked inside. He himself shared with me. He said, Mother, to the extent I am conscious, I do not want to go. I can't tell more. Then she, told him, no, no, you go. I was just, her way. She made him conscious that don't go with this idea that, oh, UNO has called me, I'm a big man. So she first removed that little base inside, because you may get that, oh, I'm a big man, subliminal quiverings. Then destiny will take you along that route. And when you are a big man, then it will say, हो गया? तो झाड़ चना का झाड़ पर चढ़ गया. So she removed that from the base because he introspected, reflected. And then he offered it. Then she said, no, no, you go, because if you don't go, somebody else will go. And he will misrepresent. But look how subliminal quiverings. Otherwise, but even that divine uses for his work. But you have to understand that there are roots inside. Sometimes she uses the word for ambition. Ambition is like a canker inside the fruit. So fruit is developing very nicely outside, and when you open it, you will see it's rotten inside because there is a canker inside. So he reminds us, are a cipher of subliminal quiverings which rarely we surprise or vaguely feel, are an outcome of suppressed realities that hardly rise into material day. That's how they explain Draupadi's 5 husbands. That she wanted one husband who is dharmanist, kartavyanist, at the same time who is multifaceted and strong and powerful, handsome and wise. Now, even then, such a person was not available. Forget about today. Only Shiva and Krishna could fit, but they are gods. So you end up with 5 husbands. This is one of the ways people. Outwardly, the occasion was Kunti. Again, Draupadi's destiny. Where does it start? Draupadi and Dhristaman. The destiny starts with the, prayer of King Drupad and Yagna. Again, if you see Bhishma's death, where does it start? That one moment when Bhishma did something which is Ghora Dharma. He goes into the sabha of that king and brings Samba Ambika Malika. And according to the law of the land, he should marry them. But he doesn't marry. He sowed his seed of death. So all these are stories to indicate that an event starts way back, sometime beyond a lifetime in this way. But it is part of the plan because it's planned in such a way. It's not about Bhishma is being punished. After all, when will that seed come to fruit? Exactly when Bhishma needs to fall for the greater destiny. So it's all part of a single plan, which is so beautiful. They are born from the spirit's son of hidden powers, digging a tunnel through emergency. How beautiful these lines are. So sometimes when the being is stifled, it wants to come out, come out, come out. It doesn't know what to do. Suddenly, the soul within, which is stifled, it bursts and there is a fate, front of fate, which brings it out through a very dark passage, digging a tunnel through emergency. Remember Pandavas coming out of Lakshagraha? It is something like that. Because one is aspired to be with God, suddenly something which one loved and cared is snatched away. That time you don't understand why it is happening. But after a few years, when you look back, you say, Acha, मैंने ही बोला था, अच्छा हुआ. Digging a tunnel through emergency because this is how the events have to take place. Son of hidden power, That's how we can understand the story of Tulsidas. He had to be a Ram Bhakt, but he was passionately attached to his wife. But surely that Ram Bhakt was inside. He must be caught. I am extrapolating. Rama, free me. But outside he is saying, oh my wife. But inside he is saying, Rama, kab main ko kya karu main? So one day she says something and that's the end of the story. And Tulsidas is born and Ramcharitmanas and all that today we carry with us. So this is how the subliminal quiverings, they are not seen by anybody. And yet they are there. And the events and circumstances will shape themselves in such a way. And that's the way the divine works. You won't understand. With one stroke, many things he will change with one single. That's how the divine works. So, with these lines, we'll stop. They are born from the spirit son of hidden powers, digging a tunnel through emergency. But who shall pierce into the cryptic gulf and learn what deep necessity of the soul determined casual deed and consequence? Casual deed, people often blame Draupadi. Oh, because she laughed, therefore the war took place. Somebody else would say, thank God she laughed. Very unbecoming of Draupadi if you see that way. But thank God she laughed and uttered the words she would never utter. Andhe ka beta andha, if at all. But thank God to that laughter, a casual deed, which made sure that these fellows will never forget because they are vindictive in nature and literally walk into the trap of Shri Krishna, the den of death. So, casual deed. Who shall know? Why we do not know? Absorbed in a routine of daily acts, our eyes are fixed on an external scene. We hear the crash of the wheels of circumstance and wonder at the hidden cause of things. Yet a foreseeing knowledge might be ours if we could take our spirits stand within, if we could hear the muffled demon voice. So yet we could know inside, if we turn within, when there are circumstances, everything is turning topsy-turvy, don't try to understand outwardly. You won't. Turn within. You will see there is a need in the soul. It's amazing. It's such a disclosure that it is this need which is taking you through this whole process. It's such a wonderful discovery. It is curative, it is healing, it brings peace and serenity and trust and hope. Namaste.